Gratitude, I am well aware, is a non-transmissible disease to humans.
He is human. Our ingratitude is not transmissible to him. This is how this gentleman sees Africa, sees Africans. We are not human.
There's no Western leader that has been in office as long as you have.
Do I care about that?
Because
the Western leader is a Western leader.
Because electorates normally throw.
If we manage to transform our raw materials tomorrow, it means that over there, factories will close. Do you understand the logic? So it's normal that they fight to disrupt our society.
And then you have fools leading countries and being used as puppets. And they are stealing billionaires in a sea of poverty.
It is not understanding how Africa, with so many riches on our soil, with a generous nature of water, abundant sunshine. Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a hungry continent. He also insulted all Africans.
I think they forgot to say thank you to us. It's not a big deal. It will come with time.
There is a part that caught my attention where he talked about ingratitude.
Gratitude, I am well aware, is a non-transmissible disease to humans.
He is human. Our ingratitude is not transmissible to him. This is how this gentleman sees Africa, sees Africans. We are not human. In his eyes, I think that if he is not an atheist and he prays, every morning when he wakes up and prays, he should also pray to the Africans. Because it is thanks to our ancestors that there is a France today. He should pray to us.
There's no Western leader that has been in office as long as you have.
Do I care about that?
Because
the Western leader is a Western leader.
Because electorates normally throw people out. The nature of electorates and democracies is that people get tired of it and they move to another person.
That is if you are telling me, you know, that everyone has to conform to what the West tells us to do. I'm not one of those people. The Western world is a world on its own. It has many good things that they do. It has many bad things they do.
There's no democratically elected leader in a generally accepted democracy that has been in office as long as you.
Democracy is not defined by the West. No. If it does, then what happens of the contradictions that happen in the West?
And I hope everyone is aware that we are no longer in a war on terrorism, but in a war of independence. Everyone must understand that it is a strategy for the imperialists to impose this war on us. Normally, every leader, every ruler should fight for their country. It's a strategy. They fight for their interests, and we must also fight for our interests. If we manage to develop, to prosper, it means that over there, they will not be able to develop. They will have to regress. If we manage to transform our raw materials tomorrow, it means that over there, factories will close. Do you understand the logic? So it's normal that they fight to disrupt our society, to keep it in this constant war, so that we can never think about developing one day. And then they will continue to develop, while we will still be here exporting our raw materials to them and our youth, suffering in poverty, trying to cross the ocean to go beg over there.
And I tell anybody to his face to go to hell if anyone comes around and thinks they can, you know, they come and say, hey, we're going to sanction you. To what? Go to hell. Just go to hell. You have your own issues to deal with. Go and deal with your own issues. Leave me to mine. So my worry is not about how powerful these people are that come down upon us and throw anything at us. I'm never worried about that. I worry about one thing, which has lived on for centuries. It's for Africans who sit back and find nothing wrong with accepting to be treated like that. That's my only worry. When can Africans refuse to be mistreated like this? To be told they have no value? To be told that their lives have to be lived as a result of a favor they are being done by somebody else? What a shame for people to accept that even for a moment. You must not accept it. You must get up and fight for yourself. And then you have fools leading countries and being used as puppets. And they are stealing from their own resources, which they should be putting to the good use of their own people and develop them. They just billionaires in a sea of poverty, millions of people going hungry, and their leaders, billionaires, money that has been stolen from the resources of these people, and these are the ones received in Western capitals and praised.
They always take examples. They will tell us, Thomas Sankara tried to do it like this, but where is he? He is dead. The Haitian president, he tried to do it like this. Where is he? He is dead. Gaddafi tried like this. Where is he? He is dead. These are the veiled statements made to us to instill fear. If we remain in this posture of fear, we will be cowards, and history will judge us. Our children will ask questions. Our grandchildren will ask questions. We are writing history. There is no room for cowardice.
For me, when I'm watching on television and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe to sit there and just, it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity. We are happy to sit there in Paris with the president of France and address and just talk about addressing problems. It doesn't make sense that our leaders cannot get themselves together to address problems affecting our people. It doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm saying this painfully. On the other hand, that I look forward for the time when I can be like the two former presidents. I think they are more free to say things than I do. Being where they are and me being where I am. So I tend to remain with some reservations about what I have to say because, but I think there is that serious problem. African leaders, we don't need to be invited anywhere to go and address our problems without first inviting ourselves to come together to tell each other the actual truth that we must tell each other about our serious problems.
Questions that my generations are asking are the following. If I may summarize, it is not understanding how Africa, with so many riches on our soil, with a generous nature of water, abundant sunshine. Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a hungry continent. And how is it that we, as heads of state, travel the world begging? These are questions we are asking ourselves, and for which we have no answers so far. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope these relationships can be the best to provide a better future for our peoples. My generation also asks me to say that due to this poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean, but soon they will not cross because they will come to our palaces to seek their daily sustenance. As for Burkina Faso, today we have been facing for more than 8 years the most barbaric, the most violent form of neocolonialism, of imperialism. The slavery that they still tend to impose on us. Our predecessors taught us one thing well. The slave who is not capable of assuming his revolt does not deserve pity for his fate. We do not pity ourselves, and we do not ask anyone to pity us. The Burkinabe people have decided to fight against the terrorists in order to revive their development. In this struggle, brave peoples, courageous populations have committed to taking up arms against terrorism, those whom we have affectionately called the VDP, the volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists label these VDP as militias and all sorts of things. It's disappointing, because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their homeland, they are called patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent, against their will. And well, upon their return, we remember well that in Tiaroye, when they wanted to claim their basic rights, they were massacred. So it doesn't matter then. When we, the people, decide to defend ourselves, we are labeled as a militia. But that is not the problem. The problem is seeing African heads of state who bring nothing to these people who are fighting, but who sing the same tune as the imperialists by labeling us as a militia, by calling us people who do not respect human rights. What human rights are we talking about? We are outraged by this, and it is shameful. We, African heads of state, must stop behaving like puppets that dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced the sending of grains to Africa. We are very pleased. We thank him for that. But also, it is a message sent to our African heads of state, because at the next forum, we should not come here without having ensured for those who do not know war, the food self-sufficiency of our peoples. We must learn from the experience of those who have already achieved this in Africa, build good relationships here, and foster better relations with the Russian Federation to meet the needs of our populations. I may not be long, the allotted time is very short. We are obliged to stop at some point, but I would like to conclude by saying that we must pay tribute to our peoples who are fighting.
I tell you, half of my life I've been living in trenches, not sure of living to the next day. I didn't fight to be the president of my country. Never. It came by accident, I think. So I was fighting for my own rights, which anyone in any human rights organization could not give me. And even now cannot give me or cannot give Rwandans. So it's cynical and absurd that anyone would just be there talking about violations, me as the leader of my own people, to be accused of violating their rights. It's just an absurd insult. But my answer is simple, is to do my best to serve my people the best way they can be served. That is the answer.